Good morning, everyone. Wonderful to see this whole group and excited to share a little bit of Flipkart's story around DEI with all of you. And some of the things in terms of why I think the way I do and some of my experiences and some of our organization's experiences as well. As I was reflecting on this whole topic of DEI, right, I realized that for the first 13 years of my life, when I was growing up on a university campus, because my father was a professor, all the conversations used to be about education, about intellectual topics, general knowledge. And the first time I ended up talking about or understanding the overlay of caste, gender, economic differences was when I came out of that ecosystem and started going to college and started staying somewhere outside of the university campus. And since then, my understanding of this space has shaped my thinking and made me realize that I'm so privileged in life. When I joined Flipkart, I was the org and talent development leader. And one of the center of excellence that I was leading and had the opportunity to shape was inclusion and diversity for Flipkart. Today, I lead HR for our technology organization, but I'm talking to you a little bit from those roots within Flipkart as well. Because when I started getting deeper into this entire topic, as I was leading this charter, there were a lot of data points that even Supriya was talking about, right? Around neurodiversity as one example. I have a couple of examples that still kind of resonate with me around inclusion and diversity. And I wanted to share that and link that to the topic that I'm bringing to all of you. The first is World Economic Forum talking about truly inclusive teams having 20% more innovation rates and similar rates in revenue growth. The second that I remember is Harvard Business Review, talking about diverse teams being 45% more likely to increase their market share and 70% more likely to be able to succeed in getting into new spaces in comparison to homogeneous teams. And why was that important for us at Flipkart? For Flipkart, innovation is the key. For us, our existence, if we don't innovate, we will have a very short life. And the whole topic of DEI was, as a result, that much more relevant for us. All of the work that we do begins with our purpose, by the way. So if I were to talk about our purpose, in the next slide I will, but I'm assuming all of you are aware of Flipkart, yes? Okay, so we were founded in, any guesses, which year? 2007, close. How many do you think sellers work on our platform? Take a guess, there is no negative marking, plus I don't know your name. 10,000, okay, any other guesses? So it was either 10,000 or many million. It's actually 1.4 for 500 million customers. So our registered user base is 500 million. About 150 million products across 80 plus categories. So it's a wide variety of products that we have to ensure we house. And that is because we are serving a wide variety of audience, right? When you think about where we reach through our entire supply chain ecosystem, it is 100% of our PIN codes in India today, whether it is through our network or our third-party network. And in order to do all of this, one of the biggest pieces, which I skipped through because I'm still getting used to this, so maybe I should go back, is the purpose slide. So this is what drives us. So when I talk about innovation, you will see this being a core part of what we are trying to do. It's about empowering every single Indian's dream by delivering value through innovation in technology and commerce. And I wanted to also bring some examples to you that showcase the technology or the innovation that we've brought in, whether it is in technology or offerings, in the ecosystem that we work in, because it's always good to have examples, right, that demonstrate what you're talking about. So, here is one. 2010 was a very nascent time for e-commerce, right? All of us were still not, I know I wasn't transacting on e-commerce at that point in time. I don't know how many of you were. I also know there was a lot of disbelief, mistrust when it came to e-commerce. And it's very interesting to note that people wouldn't want to also use their credit cards online in those days. So we said, how do we ensure that people feel more comfortable buying? And it was an industry first at the time. We said, why don't we do cash on delivery? It was a big risk for a small organization that was in existence just for 3 years, which is you're investing all the money up front in your supply chain with your sellers, everyone, and hoping that when the customer receives it, the customer pays us. So that was one example of innovation. And I won't talk through all of them, but this just gives you a sense of how innovation has been happening over the years, right? The other one, which is close to my heart, is Flipkart Samarth. So one is about inclusivity internally, but one is about how do you then enable, leverage who you are to do that within your ecosystem that you work with. So that's the example of Flipkart Samarth. So we have a program where we partner with NGOs, where we partner with government bodies, and we look at how do we enable artisans, weavers, craftspeople across every part of India to leverage the platform that we've built. The biggest challenges many of them have is around working capital, infrastructure, and inadequate training. So that's what we've identified as key pain points, and every year we ensure that we work through the bodies that, whether it's NGOs, government bodies, and so on, to provide that livelihood and make it easier for them to join our platform and sell online. The second last piece there is open box delivery, which is also a very interesting innovation. And as far as I know today, only Flipkart is doing it. Because I did once ask an Amazon delivery person saying, can you open the box and show me? He said, nahi madam, wo Flipkart karta hai. Hum nahi karte. So this was actually because, honestly speaking, we realized in our customer research that especially when our customers are buying products like expensive products, whether it is phones, whether it is big, large electronic items like refrigerators or televisions, they were very worried about what they would get, and they were very worried about whether this would be fraud, right? And so we introduced something called as the open box delivery. While it added a lot of complexity in our ecosystem, because our wish masters had to be trained, we had to develop tech to enable it, but the way it has helped us build that customer trust and ensure that even at the doorstep, the customer can say, this doesn't meet my requirements and send it back, right, has really, really helped us. The last one there, which is around Flipkart Minutes. Now, e-commerce as a concept, I think we've been dabbling in for many years, even before many of the current players were in existence. But the topic here in innovation is not about that, because I don't think we got the first mover advantage while we experimented with it. The reason why I wanted to share this was because the years of innovation that we had, by the time quick commerce became almost mainstream, especially in metro cities in 2024, we realized that we had to ensure that we scale it and we make it big. And so in 3 months solid, our entire technology organization came together across demand, across platform, across supply, technology ecosystems, and entirely upgraded the tech stacks to build Flipkart Minutes. And today we average our delivery at around 10 to 13 minutes, right, across. And we started with 3 cities. We started in Bangalore, we started in Mumbai, and we started in NCR. And now we're looking at diversifying across different parts of India as well. But those are the things that for me really, really showcase the might when you have truly innovative and inclusive and diverse teams that work for you. So how does all of that happen behind the scenes? We talked about customers in terms of serving every single Indian. We talked about sellers, whether it is through Samarth, whether it is through empowering them, ensuring that we are democratizing access to our platform for them. When you talk about our employees, there's a lot that you have to also be conscious of when you're building that ecosystem and enhancing that for your employees as well. And that's what this is about. So in our tech ecosystem, as an example, right, we have hackathons that are running through the year, trying to make sure there are platforms for people to innovate, give ideas, and get them and see them come to life as well for every single customer. The second is also around a lot of innovation challenges, like we have Project 1K, that we do within the ecosystem, which is spread across Flipkart, not just for our tech folks, where people can give ideas around some of the key problems we are facing as a company. The third, for example, is how we engage with a lot of startups within the ecosystem, where we partner with them on cutting-edge technologies, whether it is AR, VR, or any of the new ones that we feel will truly be valuable for us on our platform and for our customers. The other piece also is actually looking through the entire ecosystem, right? So today, I can confidently say that from a diversity perspective, we have men, women, LGBTQIA, we have veterans, PWD, within the ecosystem that work with us, right? The way to do that is also not just by hiring, and I think all of you will agree, it's not about hiring. It is more about how do you retain by ensuring they feel like they belong. I think that is the most crucial part in all of this. So the way we've tried to do this is by building assimilation and capability building programs. So for example, veterans who join us, we have a bridge program. We also have a buddy program internally for them to settle in. Similarly, when yesterday actually, we had Flipkart annual awards. And one of the teams that won the Workplace Equality Award was a delivery hub that is 100% led by LGBTQIA community, right, in the North. And we are very proud of that. And we are very proud that they're doing extremely well. So how do you do that is also by creating more awareness within the ecosystem about how do you interact. Because one of the things I realized is as we grow up, if you look around how people think today as well, across different parts of the society, irrespective of education, you can't keep that mindset outside the door when you enter an office. It comes along with you inside, right? The only way to do something about it is by creating awareness around it. So that's the one big piece that we focus on. The second is also around ensuring that you have programs that help people grow and develop. And once upon a time, I used to think it's not required. Once upon a time, and I grew up with an older brother, I used to think, why are we segregating people and doing programs, right? And one of the realizations as I went through my own journey as I was leading DEI was, think of it as a garden. You have plants of different types in your garden. The way you will grow each of those plants is different. Some will require daily watering. Some will require once in 5 days. As one small example. It's similar with human beings. And I think Supriya, when she spoke about neurodiversity right before me, was also trying to emphasize the same thing. It is not a one size fits everyone. So that's the other piece around sensitization and capability building as well. We also focus a lot on recognition, ensuring that we celebrate, we recognize, and we track it at the back end through every single HR process, right from performance to promotions to hiring, everything. So I think that's the way we wanted to make sure that we build that. The one important piece that underpins all of this are our Flipkart values. So Flipkart values, we have 5. We have audacity, bias for action, customer first, with integrity and inclusion. And because inclusion is a core value, every single employee is held accountable to it as well, right? Including our leaders. So we've also have developmental programs on inclusion for our leaders. The one that we are running right now is called Mosaic. And that helps you introspect, really understand your style, and look at how can you be a better leader, a more inclusive leader, right? And inclusion is beyond gender. Inclusion is truly allowing the person in front of you be who the person is and get the best from that individual, right, as a result. All of this has resulted in a lot of recognition that we have received as an organization. I'm really proud of that. But I will also say it's a journey. While I reflect back and think that, okay, till 2024, there's a lot that we've achieved. We've been recognized as one of the top companies in GPTW. We have consistently won Avatar Best Employer for Women. We have constantly won. We are #1 today in the B-School competition, even on campus. There are a lot of awards we've won. But are we there yet? We are not. We still have a long way to go. It's a journey. And I think that's the piece that excites me even more. I think the piece around how do you continue to ensure that this is not a blip, but it becomes a culture fabric, I think is something that we are still working through, right? So that's the future that I am looking forward to. But in summary, what I realized and what all of us at Flipkart realized is that our strength is not going to come from all of us being the same, thinking the same, and coming from the same backgrounds, talking the same language. It is going to come from our differences. And the reason is very simple. We serve customers that are very different. If we don't reflect the customer base that we serve, we will never be able to win in this market, right? So with that, I'll come to a close.